can't handle the truth.
This is Better Know a Liar. In the Naughty Corner today, it's everyone's favourite work and pensions secretary, Iain Duncan Smith. The failed Tory party leader, who's doing a great job hitting the unemployed and working poor, has been caught playing fast and loose with facts and figures on numerous occasions. He's also previously been caught out with some dodgy expense claims, having allegedly charged taxpayers for the cost of his laundry, a mirror, lunches, underwear, and even his haircuts. Yep, I shit you not, he claimed for his haircuts. And, along with his wife, our Iain is alleged to receive a whopping 1.5 million in farming subsidies every year from the EU, which, along with his claim for a 39 quid breakfast, has helped cast doubt on his claim that...
Could you survive on £53 a week?
Well, if I had to, I would.
Anyway, in no particular order, here are a few of our Iain's lies, which have helped paint the most vulnerable members of our society in a bad light. Cast your minds back to the 11th of October 2010. Our Iain is stood in the middle of the House of Commons, arguing for the need for an overhaul of the UK welfare system, when he produces the claim, Britain has the highest rate of jobless households in Europe.
Bullshit.
Well, not so. A quick look at the facts shows that for EU members, Belgium, Ireland, Hungary and Lithuania, along with several other non-EU countries in Europe, were all performing worse than Britain in this category. Now, in fairness to Iain, when it was pointed out to him that he wasn't telling the truth, a ministerial correction was entered into the House of Commons just a month or two later, with his statement now reading, Britain has one of the highest rates of jobless households in Europe's major economies. But by this time the claim had been reproduced as fact by a number of major news sources, and this lie, which helped justify the introduction of a number of welfare reforms, had done its damage. Once again, our Iain was caught telling porkies, this time when discussing the replacement of the incapacity benefits to a new and completely fair employment and support allowance. Our Iain, apparently forgetting that his claims can be fact-checked, boasted that 878,000 people had dropped their claims for disability benefits when faced with a new doctor's test.
Everything that guy just says, bullshit. Thank you.
Well, once again, this claim could not be proven. Firstly, as the figure took no account of the number of people who come off benefits each month, and secondly, as the figures completely ignored the fact that a lot of incapacity benefit and ESA claims are short-term, as a lot of claimants simply get better before facing the test. Further, the 878,000 individuals who supposedly dropped their claims didn't then figure in the employment or unemployment figures, they just simply vanished. But once again, this statement was taken as fact, despite the fact that the majority of these tests were done by Atos health professionals. Now, just as an example of the quality of an Atos medical, Mark Evans, a 50-year-old brain-damaged amputee, was found fit to work by Atos, who cut his incapacity benefits by half, leaving him with just £220 a month to pay his rent, bills and food. Alongside this, there have been numerous additional cases where people with cancer, stroke victims, and hell, even the remains of Richard III, have all been found fit to work by Atos, making it a reasonable assumption that the Atos doctors conducting these tests are doctors in the same way that Dr. Pepper's a doctor, which, in turn, would help undermine our Iain's statement. Yep, another lie spun by our Iain regarding benefit claims. Just as a quick recap, chances are that if the economy goes to hell and cuts are made across the board, people will have less money, which means there'll be less demand for things and thus less jobs, meaning more people will be dependent on the welfare state. Anyway, our Iain, discussing his welfare reforms, claimed that already we've seen 8,000 people who had been affected by the cap move into jobs. This clearly demonstrates that the cap is having the desired impact. Well, once again, this claim turned out to be bullshit, with the Statistics Agency having investigated the claim, finding that Mr. Smith had not complied with the Code of Practice for Official Statistics, releasing the following statement. In the manner and form published, the statistics do not comply fully with the principles of the Code of Practice, particularly in respect of accessibility to the sources of the data, information about the methodology, and quality of the statistics. Harsh words, but, luckily for Iain, his own department took to the medium of Twitter to support him. Showing their contempt for the comments made by the agency, they tweeted that DWP staff and claimants are telling us the cap is impacting behaviour and leading to those affected getting work. Funny, as it would seem that exact theory was just debunked by the Statistics Authority. Things got even worse for Iain as following a 100,000-strong public petition, he was summoned to explain his statistical falsehoods in front of Parliament's Work and Pensions Committee. Yet, Iain, being the brave and courageous man he is, backed out of his appearance, instead sending along 2 aides, despite the meeting having been postponed from June to mid-July to accommodate his needs. However, Iain was able to offer his own defence, dismissing the needs for facts or accuracy when creating and assessing policy with the simple statement, "The reality is I believe these statements to be accurate." Now, I'm not sure which reality he's talking about there, but that statement is dangerously similar to...
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
So there we have it, 3 of Iain Duncan Smith's most dangerous lies, and what's worse is that these lies have been used as justification to introduce a series of damaging and detrimental welfare reforms which have hit the most vulnerable in our society the hardest. It's also worth better knowing that these lies, combined with his refusal to answer for them, will surely mean that Iain can be accused of being in contempt of Parliament. And with the possibility that Iain could be suspended or expelled from Parliament if he's ever held account for these lies, it could potentially mean that not only will the expenses bill go down, as Iain is forced to miss out on claiming for his haircuts, but maybe, just maybe, the individuals who look to the government for help may not see their livelihoods taken from them.